The darkness of space stretches endlessly, but on the edge of the Milky Way, something far more terrifying than the vast emptiness is approaching. The Zorax Empire, a ruthless alien race known for its advanced weaponry and vast fleets, has set its sights on Earth. Their mission is simple: wipe out this insignificant planet, its primitive technology, and its barely surviving inhabitants. They believe their victory will be quick, a mere footnote in the annals of their empire's conquests. They couldn't be more wrong. As their fleet enters Earth's orbit, a cold, calculating silence fills the command deck of the Zorax flagship. General Zargoth, a leader known for his merciless approach, watches as Earth's blue and green surface comes into view. The aliens had gathered intelligence, and their observations had led them to believe humanity's military technology was far behind theirs, old, outdated, and easily defeated. The time for invasion has come, and with it, the Zorax Empire intends to demonstrate their superiority. Zargoth's eyes narrowed as he orders the attack. "Prepare to strike," he commands, his voice cold as steel. The Zorax fleet unleashes its first wave of destruction. Massive energy cannons on their warships glow brightly before sending down devastating beams from space, targeting Earth's defense satellites, military bases, and key infrastructure. The bombardment is overwhelming, an unstoppable force designed to obliterate any resistance before it even begins. The skies above Earth light up with fiery explosions as the aliens fire relentlessly, their weapons incinerating everything in their path. But as the alien beams tear through the atmosphere, something unexpected happens. The expected devastation does not follow. The strikes, instead of causing Earth to crumble, seem to vanish upon impact. The human forces had been preparing for this moment for years, but the aliens were unaware of the technological marvels Earth had secretly developed. In mere seconds, a wave of advanced human defenses activates. Cloaking devices, long believed to be fiction, flicker into existence, hiding Earth's most valuable assets from the aliens' advanced targeting systems. But the true marvels are the energy shields. These shields, designed to withstand the most powerful attacks, surround Earth's military facilities, military hubs, and defense fleets, absorbing the alien weapons with a simple, yet effective force field. Not a single explosion tears through the human infrastructure. The Zorax fleet is stunned. Nothing they have tried seems to affect Earth's defenses. For the first time in their long history of conquest, the Zorax Empire finds itself confronted with an enemy that refuses to bow to their might. The ships hover, suspended in space above Earth, as General Zargoth orders another barrage. "Increase the intensity," he commands, but his voice carries a trace of doubt. Deep down, even he is starting to question the easy victory he had anticipated. As Earth's defenses hold firm, Captain Alex Bonner stands in the heart of the human command center. His mind races, trying to piece together the aliens' next move. Bonner, a tall, imposing figure, has been leading Earth's defense forces for the past few years, always preparing for the worst. He is a strategic genius, someone who had studied every possible alien tactic, and yet even he is taken aback by the intensity of the alien assault. He looks to his right, where his trusted lieutenant, Tessa, stands, her face lit by the dim blue glow of their tactical display. Her expression is one of focused determination, but Bonner knows her well. She's just as surprised by this alien attack as he is. He breathes deeply, preparing himself for the worst. This battle is only just beginning, and humanity's survival depends on their ability to adapt, to prove that they are more than just weaklings in the eyes of the galaxy. "Activate countermeasures," Bonner orders, his voice steady and calm, masking the underlying tension. "We can't let them take us by surprise. Deploy all available units." Across Earth's military network, human fleets and soldiers prepare for retaliation. Ships hidden behind cloaking devices dart forward, barely visible as they surge through space at full speed. The aliens are still trying to break through Earth's defenses, but now they are facing a counterstrike they never expected. The human forces launch a surprise attack using a new type of weapon that the Zorax Empire has never seen before: advanced plasma cannons that fire powerful beams capable of destabilizing even the Zorax fleet's energy shields. The humans are fighting back with every ounce of strength they have. This isn't just a battle for Earth, it's a battle for survival. And as each new strike hits, General Zargoth begins to feel the weight of his overconfidence. The human resistance is more than just stubborn, it's effective. He doesn't understand how they've managed to hold out so long, but his orders are clear: wipe them out, no matter the cost. The sound of a siren echoes through the command center as a new alert pops up on Bonner's screen. One of his close soldiers, Sergeant Markson, has just been hit by a Zorax strike. The human forces had managed to hold their ground, but the loss of soldiers is inevitable, and the emotional toll is beginning to mount. Bonner turns to his crew, his face hardening with determination. "We fight for every one of them. We don't let their sacrifice go in vain. Not now. Not ever." A silence falls over the room as his words hit home. The soldiers around him, many of whom have lost friends and family to the alien invaders, nod grimly. The battle is personal now. It's not just about saving the Earth. It's about honoring the lives lost and standing against the unimaginable force that the Zorax Empire represents. Bonner's team begins coordinating their next move. They'll push back against the alien forces with everything they have. But there is something more at play. Something the Zorax Empire has failed to recognize. Humanity's true strength lies not just in its weapons, but in its spirit, its will to fight for freedom and the future. This is something no weapon, no matter how powerful, can defeat. The Zorax fleet is relentless, their next wave of attacks already launched, but Earth's countermeasures are quick to respond. The battle rages on, both in space and on the ground. Human soldiers, fighting in dense, urban environments, take on Zorax invaders with courage, using advanced combat tech and clever tactics that the aliens didn't expect. The human fleet, having now regrouped, strikes back with all its might, sending wave after wave of advanced fighter ships into space to engage the aliens directly. The action is nonstop, with lasers cutting through the void, massive explosions shaking the battlefield, and alien war machines falling one by one. Each explosion echoes a tiny victory, but also a loss. The price of war is never small, and Bonner knows this all too well. With each victory, the cost becomes heavier, but he can't afford to let the weight of their losses slow them down. If anything, it will fuel their fight even more. As the Zorax fleet falters under the relentless attacks, General Zargoth's confidence finally cracks. He orders one last attempt to crush humanity's defenses, but the Zorax ships have lost their momentum. The humans have proven their worth, something General Zargoth never anticipated. Bonner stands tall, looking out over the battlefield from his command center. His face is stern, but a flicker of hope shines through his eyes. This fight is far from over, but the humans have made their first stand, and it's a stand that will echo through the stars. The Zorax Empire may have underestimated humanity, but Earth's defenders know that their willpower, ingenuity, and determination will be the key to turning the tide of this war. As the battle continues to rage on, one thing becomes clear. The Zorax Empire has just made a fatal mistake. General Zargoth stood tall in his command center, his gaze fixed on the chaos unfolding below. The battle had taken an unexpected turn. The initial bombardment of Earth had failed. The humans, those insignificant creatures, had somehow managed to withstand the Zorax fleet's devastating assault. But that wasn't the end. Zargoth's lip curled into a cold smile, and he knew it was time to escalate the conflict. His fleet, his soldiers, and his strategy had all been tested, but the Earthlings had shown resilience. It was time to crush them once and for all. "Deploy the eye-controlled war machines," Zargoth ordered, his voice cutting through the tension in the command center. It's time to show them the true might of the Zorax Empire. The Zorax Empire had perfected the art of war. Their fleets were vast, their technology superior. But now they unleashed a more lethal weapon. Machines without emotion, without fear, designed only to destroy. These AI-controlled war machines were unstoppable on the battlefield. Armed with advanced weaponry and reinforced armor, they were the perfect counter to any human resistance. Alongside them, the Zorax Empire also deployed squads of deadly robots, machines built for one purpose: to invade, kill, and conquer. They would crush the humans' last defenses in a storm of steel and fire. Back on Earth, Bonner's eyes narrowed as the alarms blared. His team had fought bravely, but they were not prepared for what was coming next. The AI-controlled war machines and robots would arrive soon, and they would change the nature of the fight. Bonner had never seen such advanced technology, and for a moment, doubt flashed in his mind. Could humanity truly stand a chance against these cold, calculating machines? He shook the thought away. There was no time for hesitation now. "Tessa," he said to his second-in-command, "Mark, get ready. We've fought the aliens before, but these machines are something else. We need to be smart, use the environment, adapt, and hit them where it hurts." Tessa nodded grimly, her face set with determination. "We're not going down without a fight, Captain. We got this." With the Zorax forces advancing rapidly, Bonner and his elite team of soldiers prepared to face the most dangerous combat they had ever encountered. The battlefield was a chaotic, deadly place. Tanks and artillery laid waste to the land, while overhead, the Zorax fleet continued to fire down orbital bombardments, trying to soften up Earth's defenses. The sky was ablaze with explosions as the war machines began to land. The first wave of AI-controlled war machines arrived in a thundering roar, each one massive and unstoppable. They were covered in heavy armor, their weapons designed to vaporize anything in their path. As they landed, the earth trembled beneath their weight. These machines had no mercy, no fear. They marched toward Earth's last remaining defenses, their metal feet pounding the ground with terrifying force. Bonner's team was already on the move, sprinting toward the front lines. They knew they had to stop these machines before they overwhelmed their forces. The aliens had underestimated humanity's resilience, but now it was time to show them the true nature of the human spirit. "Take cover," Bonner shouted as he dove behind a crumbling building, followed by his soldiers. The Zorax war machines were relentless, advancing in perfect formation, their laser cannons firing in synchronized blasts. The ground shook with each blast as the humans scrambled to keep their positions. The human shields absorbed the fire, but the impact was still felt, and the soldiers had to push harder than ever to hold their ground. Tessa, armed with a plasma rifle, was the first to engage. She moved quickly, darting from cover to cover, firing off shots aimed at the weak points of the war machines. The plasma blast struck, but the machines hardly seemed affected. Their advanced armor absorbed most of the attacks with ease. The humans were up against a foe unlike anything they had faced before. Bonner, with his strategic mind, quickly recognized the challenge. The machines were strong, but they weren't invincible. There had to be a weakness. His eyes scanned the battlefield, and his gaze locked on the energy cores powering the AI war machines. If they could destroy the cores, they could disable the machines. "Mark," Bonner called out, "we need to hit those energy cores. Focus on the weak points." Mark, his face grim, nodded. "Got it, Captain." He raised his weapon, a powerful anti-tank plasma cannon, and aimed at one of the approaching war machines. With a precise shot, the cannon fired, striking the core. The machine shuddered but kept moving. It was clear that this wasn't going to be easy. "Keep firing," Bonner ordered, rallying his team. The ground was becoming a sea of destruction, but the humans kept pushing forward. The Zorax robots were on the move as well, weaving through the chaos of the battlefield. Their movements were swift, precise, and deadly. They advanced, cutting down anything in their path with sharp blades and laser fire. But the humans fought back with everything they had. They used their environment to their advantage, hiding behind buildings, ambushing the robots from above, and using guerrilla tactics to disable the enemy machines. It was a brutal, back-and-forth struggle, with both sides suffering heavy losses. The battle was relentless, with no time to rest or regroup. It was a fight for survival, and each soldier knew that their survival depended on how quickly they could adapt to the overwhelming power of the alien invaders. In the midst of the chaos, Tessa led a daring assault, charging directly into the heart of the battle. She moved like lightning, her plasma rifle firing non-stop as she cleared a path for her comrades. But fate had other plans. A Zorax robot, towering over her, emerged from the smoke. Tessa barely had time to react before the robot swung its massive blade. The strike was quick and precise, catching her off guard. In an instant, Tessa was gone. Bonner, who had been watching from a distance, felt his heart sink. Tessa had been more than just a soldier. She had been his friend, his partner in this fight. Her loss was a blow that he could never have anticipated. The pain was sharp, but there was no time for grief. The battle raged on, and they couldn't afford to lose focus. With Tessa's death weighing heavily on his mind, Bonner pushed forward, rallying the remaining soldiers. The humans had already lost so much, but they couldn't afford to lose more. The Zorax war machines kept coming, their relentless march toward Earth's defenses unstoppable. But Bonner knew something the Zorax didn't. Humanity had something they didn't: an unbreakable spirit. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, the humans would fight, adapt, and survive. The battle wasn't over yet. As the fighting continued, Bonner's mind raced. How could they turn the tide? The war machines were powerful, but they weren't invincible. If they could just find a way to exploit their weakness, they could win this. Bonner wasn't ready to give up. Not now, not when so many had already given everything for the cause. The battlefield was a grim place. Smoke and fire filled the air, and explosions echoed across the land. But amidst the destruction, a spark of hope remained. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting for something far greater. They were fighting for each other, for the future, and for the memory of those who had fallen. The battle was at a breaking point. The humans had fought valiantly, holding their ground against the overwhelming forces of the Zorax Empire. But despite their determination, the sheer might of the alien technology had pushed them to the brink of collapse. Bonner, the leader of Earth's last hope, could feel the weight of his responsibility pressing down on him. The stakes had never been higher, and the price of failure was unimaginable. In the midst of the chaos, something extraordinary happened. During one of the many skirmishes with the alien forces, a group of soldiers, led by Major Tessa's old partner, Lieutenant Mark, stumbled upon something buried deep beneath the surface of Earth. They had been sent to retrieve vital intel, but what they uncovered was something far more significant. A relic, an artifact from an ancient civilization that had once thrived on Earth long before humans even existed. At first, the artifact seemed like nothing more than an oddity, a relic from a forgotten time. But as Mark and his team examined it further, they realized that it was no ordinary piece of technology. It was an ancient device designed to harness unimaginable power. It was, in a sense, a weapon, one that had been hidden beneath Earth's core for millennia, waiting for the right moment to be uncovered. The artifact was unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Its sleek, mysterious design defied any known technology, and it hummed with an energy that seemed almost alive. Its very presence sent a shiver down Mark's spine. He knew that they had found something that could change the course of the war, but it was unclear exactly how it worked or what it could do. Back at the Human Command Center, Bonner was briefed on the discovery. He knew that this could be the key to turning the tide against the Zorax Empire. With the alien forces growing stronger and more relentless with each passing day, the humans needed a miracle, something that could stop the seemingly invincible invaders. As Bonner gazed at the artifact, something deep inside him stirred. The loss of Tessa still weighed heavily on his heart, but now there was a glimmer of hope. The battle had seemed endless, but perhaps, just perhaps, This mysterious relic could be their salvation. For Bonner and his team, this was their moment. They had found hope in the darkest of times, and they were using it to fight back against an enemy that had once seemed invincible. With the artifact's power and the strength of their will, they would take back Earth, one battle at a time. The battle was escalating to an unimaginable level. Every minute, every second, the stakes grew higher. The once confident Zorax Empire, having underestimated the power of humanity, had unleashed their final assault. The shield, which had previously turned the tide in humanity's favor, was beginning to show cracks under the weight of the relentless alien attack. Bonner stood at the command center, staring at the live feeds from across the battlefield. The alien fleet had brought out their most powerful weaponry, massive AI-controlled battleships that were capable of erasing entire cities with a single shot. The ships hovered in the sky, ominous and enormous, casting long shadows over the cities below. Each ship carried enough firepower to wipe out humanity's last stronghold in one fell swoop. For the first time, Bonner felt the weight of the situation crushing down on him. The shield that had been humanity's saving grace was faltering, its energy reserves dwindling as it tried to protect the Earth from the alien onslaught. It was only a matter of time before the shield would collapse entirely, leaving humanity vulnerable to the full force of the Zorax Empire. "Captain, the shield's integrity is at 20%. The voice of his tech officer crackled through the communication channel, the panic evident in her voice. Bonner's heart raced. He had seen his soldiers die, fighting for the future of humanity. They had made it this far, but now the shield, the very thing that had kept them alive, was about to give way. Time was running out. He needed to think fast. The Zorax Empire, sensing the vulnerability of Earth's defenses, pushed forward with their final assault. Their warships began charging their weapons, massive energy blasts crackling from their cannons, ready to fire. Each shot was a death sentence for entire cities. The weight of the attack was overwhelming, and the shield couldn't hold much longer. The tide was shifting, and the aliens knew it. Bonner clenched his fists, frustration rising within him. He knew they had to act now. "We don't have much time," he said, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. "Find a way to fix the shield. We need to get that weapon online, and fast." His team scrambled, working tirelessly to try and repair the shield. But with every passing minute, the pressure mounted. The aliens had pushed their forces to the limit, and the humans were running out of options. If the shield failed, it would be the end. There was no plan B. This was their last stand. As the technicians worked desperately, Bonner turned to the screen showing the massive alien warship hovering above the city. Its guns glowed ominously, charging for the final strike. The ship's enormous size dwarfed everything around it. The sheer power it wielded was beyond anything the humans had ever faced. This was their final test. Outside, the sky was alive with the flash of explosions. Humanity's fighter jets zipped through the air, their engines roaring as they darted through the explosions, narrowly avoiding alien lasers. The pilots maneuvered with precision, desperate to get close enough to the warship and disable its weapons. But the alien lasers were deadly accurate, and the pilots had to use all their skill and courage to stay alive. Every move was a gamble. Every second counted. Bonner's eyes never left the screen as the fighters engaged with the alien forces. His heart raced as he watched the jets dart and weave through the sky, narrowly avoiding the powerful laser blasts. The battle had become a deadly game of cat and mouse. One wrong move, and the pilots would be reduced to nothing more than a cloud of smoke and debris. Bonner's team was doing everything they could to buy time, but the alien warship's weapons were getting closer to firing. The pressure was unbearable. Bonner could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. His team, his soldiers, were all counting on him. Every decision he made, every command he gave, could mean life or death for his people. The loss of Tessa still haunted him, but now wasn't the time to grieve. They needed him to be strong. They needed him to lead them through this final battle. "Captain, the shield is at 10%. The tech officer's voice was urgent, almost frantic. "We can't hold out much longer." Bonner's mind raced. The weight of the situation pressed on him, but he couldn't afford to panic. He had to stay calm. "Activate the emergency protocol," he ordered. The emergency protocol was a last-ditch effort to activate the ancient weapon, the relic they had uncovered deep within Earth's core. It was their only hope. The artifact had given them a fighting chance, but now it was up to the humans to harness its full power. Bonner knew that if the shield failed and the weapon didn't activate in time, all would be lost. The final battle was upon them, and it was up to him and his team to pull humanity back from the brink of destruction. The tech team worked frantically, entering commands and initiating the protocol. The hum of the ancient artifact filled the room as its power surged to life. Bonner watched in anticipation, his breath held, as the energy from the artifact flowed into the shield's core. If it worked, they might just have enough power to withstand the alien assault. Outside, the alien warship's weapons reached their peak, the energy blast crackling from its massive cannons. Bonner could see the incoming shot from the screen. His heart skipped a beat as the blast sped toward Earth. The fate of humanity was hanging in the balance. At the last possible moment, a surge of energy shot up from Earth's core, enveloping the planet in a brilliant, glowing shield. The massive energy blast from the alien warship collided with the shield, sending out a shockwave that rattled the ground beneath their feet. Bonner watched as the shield absorbed the blast, its energy crackling but holding strong. The alien warship's weapons had failed. Bonner exhaled in relief, but there was no time to celebrate. The war wasn't over yet. The shield had held, but the aliens would not stop. They had lost their most powerful weapon, but they were still formidable. The battle was far from won. Bonner's leadership was put to the ultimate test. The weight of responsibility was more than he could have ever imagined. Every death, every moment of anguish, had led them to this point. His soldiers had given everything, and now it was his turn to give everything for them. There was no turning back. The fate of humanity rested on his shoulders. With the shield holding strong, Bonner's forces launched their final counterattack. Fighter jets flew once more, weaving through the air with deadly precision. The alien warships, though massive and powerful, were no match for the relentless fury of humanity's final stand. Bonner's team moved forward with renewed determination. This was it, the final battle for Earth, and they would fight until the very end. The pressure was immense, but Bonner knew they had one last chance. Every soldier, every pilot, was giving their all. And in that moment, Bonner understood something fundamental. The fate of humanity wasn't just about winning the battle. It was about standing together, fighting for each other, and giving everything for a future that was worth saving. The final battle was here. Earth's future hung in the balance, and Bonner, along with his remaining team, prepared for one last desperate mission. The alien flagship loomed overhead, its massive size casting a dark shadow over the war-torn planet below. The ship was not only a symbol of the alien empire's power, but also the heart of their invasion, a powerful fortress filled with robotic soldiers and the most advanced weaponry known to the galaxy. Inside, General Zargoth, the mastermind behind the invasion, awaited his final victory. But Bonner and his team had other plans. Bonner's mind was focused, every nerve on high alert. This was their last chance to stop the alien threat once and for all. The team's mission was clear: infiltrate the flagship, take down Zargoth, and destroy the alien war machine from the inside. There was no room for failure. The stakes had never been higher. As they made their way through the darkened corridors of the flagship, the tension in the air was palpable. They were deep within enemy territory, and the slightest misstep could mean certain death. The alien ship was filled with state-of-the-art security systems and deadly robotic soldiers programmed to detect any intruders. But humanity had something the aliens didn't: ingenuity. The humans had developed stealth technology that allowed them to move undetected through the ship, using the shadows to their advantage. With every step, the team advanced deeper into the heart of the alien fortress. Bonner and his soldiers moved silently, setting traps for the alien robots and using their superior knowledge of combat tactics to outsmart their enemies. The ship, once a symbol of invincibility, now seemed to be a maze of opportunities for the humans to strike back. As they moved closer to their target, Bonner's mind kept drifting back to the battles they had fought, to the comrades they had lost along the way. Tessa, Mark, and so many others had given their lives to bring them here. Each loss had taken a toll on Bonner, but now, in the final stretch of this long and brutal war, those memories fueled him. He fought for them, for all of humanity, and for the future they had all dreamed of. The closer they got to Zargoth, the more intense the battle became. The ship's corridors were lined with alien soldiers, and every corner was a potential threat. Bonner and his team fought with everything they had, each move calculated and precise. The sound of gunfire and the clash of metal filled the air as the humans fought tooth and nail against the robotic soldiers. They were outnumbered, but their courage and determination were unmatched. Then, as they reached the heart of the ship, Bonner and his team finally encountered Zargoth. The alien general stood at the center of a massive control room, surrounded by the last of his forces. The moment the door to the room opened, Bonner's eyes locked onto Zargoth's cold, calculating gaze. The two leaders stood face to face for the first time, and the tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. Zargoth, towering and armored, looked down at Bonner with disdain. "You think you can stop us? You are nothing. You are mere insects beneath our feet," he hissed, his voice deep and menacing. "Your resistance was a futile effort. You are all doomed." But Bonner wasn't intimidated. He had heard those words before, from the mouths of countless enemies. He had seen humanity stand against impossible odds time and time again. And now, in this final moment, he was determined to make sure that the aliens would never see Earth as weak again. Without warning, Bonner charged, his soldiers following close behind. A fierce battle erupted between the humans and the alien forces. The control room became a chaotic battlefield, with soldiers exchanging fire, robotic enemies charging at the humans, and explosions ringing out in every direction. Bonner, using his experience and strength, fought his way through the enemy forces, determined to reach Zargoth. The alien general, however, was a formidable opponent. He fought with unnatural strength, his weapon strikes precise and devastating. Bonner could feel the weight of every blow, but he refused to back down. He had come too far, lost too much, and fought too hard to give up now. The battle between the two leaders was intense. Every move, every strike, was a matter of life or death. Bonner's body was battered, his face covered in dirt and sweat, but his resolve remained unbroken. Zargoth, on the other hand, seemed almost invincible, his alien physiology and superior technology making him a deadly adversary. As the fight continued, Bonner's thoughts flashed back to everything he had lost. He thought of Tessa, her smile, her bravery in the face of danger. He thought of Mark, his loyalty, and the many others who had fought and died for this moment. Their faces, their voices, filled his mind, giving him the strength to keep going. Zargoth's attacks were relentless, but Bonner's spirit was stronger. With every blow, he remembered the fallen soldiers who had given their lives so that he could be here, so that humanity could stand one last time. The alien general's arrogance and cruelty were nothing compared to the resilience of the human spirit. Bonner knew this battle was more than just a fight for survival. It was a fight for everything they held dear. With a final powerful strike, Bonner landed a blow that knocked Zargoth back, stunning the alien general. Taking advantage of the opening, Bonner moved in for the kill. With one swift motion, he plunged his weapon into Zargoth's chest, the alien general's final scream echoing through the control room. The fight was over. The room fell silent as Bonner stood over the fallen alien leader. Zargoth's forces, seeing their leader defeated, began to retreat, their will broken. The humans had won. The alien empire's invasion was over. But as Bonner looked around, the victory felt hollow. The bodies of his fallen comrades littered the battlefield. Tessa, Mark, and so many others had given their lives for this moment. Bonner's heart ached with the weight of their sacrifice. This victory was theirs as much as it was his, and he would carry their memory with him forever. As the last of the alien forces were destroyed and the flagship began to crumble, Bonner stood tall. The battle for Earth was won, but at a great cost. Humanity had proven that no matter how overwhelming the odds, they would never back down. They had fought for each other, for the future, and for their home. And in the end, that was what had made all the difference. The final stand had ended. The alien threat was no more. But Bonner knew that the true victory lay not in defeating the enemy, but in the resilience of humanity. How, against all odds, they had fought together, never giving up, never surrendering. And that was the legacy they would leave behind. The battle was over. Earth had endured the storm of destruction and chaos brought upon it by the alien forces. The sky, once darkened by the ominous presence of the alien warships, now cleared, revealing the bright expanse of the blue planet below. Humanity had proven that even against the most technologically advanced and seemingly unbeatable enemies, their spirit and resilience could never be crushed. The aliens, once so confident in their victory, were now retreating, their forces broken, their leadership defeated. Earth stood tall, not as a shattered world, but as a beacon of defiance and strength. Bonner stood at the edge of a cliff, overlooking the battlefield. His eyes scanned the wreckage. The twisted remains of alien ships, scattered pieces of technology that had once been instruments of destruction. The Earth was scared, but the scars were not the marks of defeat. They were the marks of resilience. Humanity had survived, and it had triumphed. As Bonner stood there, the winds blowing softly against his face, he reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. The early days of the invasion had been filled with fear and uncertainty. The alien forces had come with overwhelming force, their ships darkening the skies and their advanced weapons tearing through Earth's defenses. For a time, it had seemed like humanity was on the brink of annihilation. But then, something changed. Despite the seemingly insurmountable odds, humanity did not give up. Soldiers like Bonner, Tessa, Mark, and countless others had fought not just for survival, but for something deeper, for the future, for their families, for their homes. It was their courage, their unity, and their refusal to yield that had turned the tide. They fought not because they had the most advanced technology or the most powerful weapons. They fought because they had something the aliens lacked: the will to survive and the determination to protect everything they loved. Bonner's mind wandered to the faces of those he had lost along the way. His team, his friends, the soldiers who had fought beside him in the trenches, who had given everything they had for this victory. Tessa, with her unshakable bravery. Mark, always by his side, a loyal and steadfast companion. Their deaths had weighed heavily on him, but their sacrifices had not been in vain. They had given humanity the strength to win. Looking out over the battlefield, Bonner could see the aftermath of the war. The alien ships, once symbols of invincibility, now lay in ruins. Their power, once thought unbeatable, had been shattered by the very beings they had underestimated. The aliens had come to Earth believing that their superior technology and overwhelming forces would crush humanity without effort. But what they hadn't accounted for was humanity's adaptability. They hadn't accounted for the heart and spirit of Earth's defenders. The humans had found a way to turn the tide, using their ingenuity, their bravery, and their unwavering belief in their cause. Even when all seemed lost, humanity had refused to give up. And now, the results of that determination were clear. The alien threat was over. The skies were clear, and the Earth, though battered, was still standing. As the camera zoomed out, Bonner could see the aftermath of the battle, a vast expanse of ruined alien technology, the remnants of their war machines scattered across the ground. Yet below that, there was something more powerful, There was Earth itself, the soil rich with life, the sky wide and open, the oceans calm and peaceful. Despite the destruction, there was hope. Humanity had won. The battle for Earth was over, but the fight for a brighter future was just beginning. The humans, their faces worn and weary, gathered together, standing united as one. The war had taken its toll, but the sense of unity and strength was stronger than ever. The soldiers, the civilians, the leaders, everyone had fought together for this victory. The scars of war would remain, but they were marks of resilience, of a people who had refused to back down. Bonner's heart swelled with pride as he watched the people of Earth come together. They had endured the darkest of times and had emerged stronger, more united, and more determined than ever before. The loss of so many weighed heavily on him, but he knew that they had won because they had never given up, even when the odds seemed impossible. In the distance, the first signs of rebuilding were visible. The alien ships, which had once dominated the skies, were now nothing more than broken remnants of a failed invasion. The Earth's cities, though scarred, would rise again. Humanity would rebuild, and this time, they would do it with a newfound sense of purpose and strength. The battle was won, but the true victory lay in the unity and resilience of humanity. As Bonner turned away from the battlefield, he knew that this victory would not be the end. It was only the beginning. The aliens had underestimated humanity, believing that their advanced technology and overwhelming force would be enough to conquer Earth. But in the end, it was humanity's ability to adapt, to rise above the challenges, and to fight for what mattered that had ensured their survival. The camera panned over the Earth, showing the quiet beauty of the planet. The clouds parted, the sun shining down on the land, casting a warm light over the ruins of war. The Earth had endured. It had been scared, but it had not been broken. And now, in the aftermath of battle, there was hope for a new beginning. Humanity had survived, and they would rebuild. The victory was theirs, and it was not just a victory over the alien forces, but a victory over the darkness that had threatened to swallow them. The final moments of the story brought the audience back to the core themes that had driven the entire battle: good is evil, and the underdog victory that had defined humanity's fight. The aliens had come, expecting to crush Earth with ease. But in the end, it was humanity's unwavering spirit that had triumphed. Despite the odds, despite the overwhelming power of the invaders, humanity had proven that they were not just survivors, they were victors. And as Bonner looked to the future, he knew that this was just the beginning. Earth had won, but the journey was far from over. The road ahead would be long, but with the strength and unity that had defined their struggle, humanity was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. This victory was just the first chapter in a new story, one where humanity's spirit would shine brighter than ever.